Your Steve Jones Show podcast will start shortly. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Brewers Outlet, your beverage supermarket on Reagan Street in Sunbury. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now, from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors, key routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. And today's show brought to you by Brewers Outlet. Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Corey already driving in for the big Penn State wrestling dual meet tonight with Michigan in the Jordan Center. We'll talk about that in a moment. Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury. Stock up for the Super Bowl. Great specials. Bud and Bud Light, 30 packs, just $18.88. Red's Wicked Sour Apple and Watermelon, 12 packs, $7.97. Labatt and Labatt Light, 16-ounce, 24 packs, $19.95. Pacifico, 12-pack cans, $4.95. Imports, domestics, microbrews, best selection of beer anywhere. Wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast those peanuts fresh and hot every day. The bags are right there at the register when you exit. And the pickle bar, led by the barrels and the dills, top shelf always, second to none. All at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. All right, play-by-play call of the day. The Sixers going to Oakland last night and beat Golden State.
8 to shoot. Butler going one-on-one. Butler dribbling against Draymond Green. 4 to shoot. Jimmy to JJ. Redick driving right side. 3 ball in the air. Up and good. The Sixers. J.J. Redick knocks down a 3. 22 seconds to go. A 9-point Philadelphia lead.
Tom McGinnis with the call with the Sixers Radio Network. And you know what? In that stretch run with about 2 minutes to go, Steph Curry. This is what is so impressive about Stephen Curry. Steph Curry is the best three-point shooter I've ever seen. But he's also, in my opinion, the best in the NBA at layups. You watch him around the basket, body control, angles, terrific. 2 minutes ago, he's got the perfect layup on a breakaway. And Mike Muscala Bucknell from behind, clean block. Great play by Mike. All right. Yeah, I watched that site. That was after the game I did last night. I watched the Sixers game with Golden State last night. All right. Let's talk wrestling. It'll be a sellout tonight in the Jordan Center when Penn State takes on number 5 and undefeated Michigan. Jeff Byers, the voice of Penn State Wrestling, joins us. Hello, Jeff. Great to have you with us.
Well, nice to be with you, and definitely looking forward to what should be a pretty special night for Penn State here at the Bryce Jordan Center.
Obviously, there'll be one. Bravo won't go. Obviously,
that's I don't know that that's 100% certain, but my guess is that yes, correct. He'll be held out. I think everybody else, unless something happens in the warm-ups here this afternoon, I think everybody else should be good to go. And I'd say there's an outside chance that Roman would go tonight, but I'm certainly not expecting it.
Well, I told Jack Ham this morning, and when he asked, I told him he wasn't. So,
well, there you have it.
Because Jack was going to go tonight, as a matter of fact.
Is that right?
Yeah, and Joanne's brother's birthday's today, so they had to go to that.
The old birthday celebration gets away again.
For the brother-in-law. Okay, for the brother, somebody has to drive. He's driving, so he actually was going to go tonight. All right, let's get to. I want to talk about Schnupp. What did that do? Not just for him, but for everybody that he broke through and won.
Yeah, I think it just gives everybody a little bit of an extra good feeling going into this week. It's just when you see a kid just plugging away, and Devin will be the first to tell you he does not have the natural talent that some of his teammates have. But boy, he is a kid that does absolutely everything the coaches ask of him. Continues to get better and better at his craft, and to get a breakthrough win like that and get a victory in a conference duel on the road like that can do nothing but help. I think the entire team just felt good for him to get that big Big Ten dual meet victory.
As you watch this team, give me a guy or two where you can look. There's certain guys that have themselves at the highest level. Everybody knows who they are. Give me a guy or two that you're looking at saying, you know what, that's a better wrestler than I saw in December.
Yeah, I think certainly Brady Berge is a guy that just, and you kind of thought that's what would happen, that as he just got some experience in matches against other top kids. I mean, he's another guy that just really does work his tail off, very coachable, listens to what the coaches are telling him and makes the adjustments from one match to another. And, I really thought he was a guy that would progress as the season went along, and we've certainly seen that. Obviously Anthony Cassar, I just think, continues to grow in confidence. I don't know that he was lacking confidence to begin with, but, he really is feeling comfortable right now with what it is he needs to do to be on top of the podium here in March, and realizes it's a process. And, I think Nick Lee's another one that you look at as a guy that just is continuing to work and figure things out here as we go along.
All right. On the flip side, give me a couple of matches that you're looking at as bellwether matches tonight.
Yeah, I think 141 and 149 are going to be real key. I think it's certainly conceivable that Michigan could be pitching a shutout for those first four bouts. I think Penn State is expecting to go 2-2. I think the Nittany Lions feel pretty good about Nick Lee's chances, even though he'll be facing the fifth-ranked kid in the country here for Michigan in Condon Store. And, Berge, I guess, would be favored on paper over Malik Amin. It's just that, Amin is a fifth-year senior here going against a redshirt freshman, and I think Michigan is kind of hoping that experience maybe will pay some dividends there at that way. But, I think if Penn State can come out even or ahead after those first four weight classes, pretty hard to see how the Nittany Lions would come up on the short end. But the three matches that I think are kind of the most intriguing and, the ones that will probably tell you how the dual meet is going to go is 141, 149, and then heavyweight. Obviously should be a terrific matchup between Cassar and Paris.
Tonight is great for the sport. There's no getting around it. It's going to be a full house, excited, sophisticated crowd, gets the sport, gets the big moments, gets the trouble moments, and so forth. It's going to be televised, so people will get to see all of this and more and how dramatic it is. In the sport overall, there have been a couple of – I don't want anybody who's wrestling that's hurt for obvious reasons, and I absolutely don't want anybody taking a mat that's injured. But there have been a couple of guys that are highly ranked in this country in the last week or so, 10 days or so, that have been held out of lineups by coaches with the idea they're thinking about March. What is that doing to the sport that does need eyeballs on it?
Yeah, it's not helping, Steve, and I understand. When you talk to coaches, they'll tell you, listen, we need to do what's best for our kids, and with an eye toward the postseason. And I get that to an extent, but I do think more coaches need to kind of think big picture here and understand the danger that the sport is in. It is actually going through a bit of a growth spurt after years of seeing programs decline. They've held steady here for the last couple of years, and actually will increase.
Fresno State. Fresno State, I think, is going to add, right?
Well, Fresno State did add. Now, they lost Boise State, so that was kind of a wash.
Okay.
But they're holding steady. But next year, there's 76 Division I programs right now. Next year, they'll actually go to 79. Arkansas Little Rock is in the transition period, but will be a full-fledged Division I program next year. Long Island University will be, and Presbyterian College is adding Division I wrestling starting next year. So, it's significant right now for wrestling. I mean, it doesn't sound like much, three programs one way or another, but after years of seeing, steady decline, of course, a massive decline in the early 90s, and then, just kind of here and there, you were losing a school and losing another school, and now to see it grow. There was an interesting column, I forget if it was last week or the week before, talking about how the sport really, college wrestling should target trying to get to 100 Division I programs within the next 5 years. And I think if they went about it right, and I don't know that they will, I think that is actually achievable right now in the current climate. But you have to be very strategic about it, and you have to be very intelligent about the way you go about it, and have a financial plan in place that you can go with to some of these college administrators as to why the sport could be financially viable for their athletic department.
See, the problem I see, and that's why I think that right now the fight is to maintain, because I think growth is, in my opinion, growth's a problem. And here's the reason why. I know 3 are going to add it, but if I add the program and you got the right financial plan, you have to have the right financial plan for the Title IX program you're adding. I mean,
no question.
See, that's where to me where the problem. And
yeah.
I mean, to use the word problem is not the right, but that's where an issue comes in for the great sport of wrestling. Is that okay? I've done that. Now I've got to add something else that's not going to add to my books financially.
Correct, and that there's no question that is the battle right now. I do think when you look at some of the programs that are out there, and not to get too far into the weeds on this, but that you're right. It has to be a presentation of, listen, this is why wrestling can work, and
right.
Yes, you add another women's sport with it. There's no question, but. And I think that's part of the mission right now is you're looking around to me, Steve, and in particular, I think, they'd be wise to kind of target some of the ACC schools initially because
you need a Power 5 school to then say yes, because what did Penn State do for ice hockey? Right?
Correct.
Oh, holy cow! Penn State added ice hockey. Wow.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, see, the problem is outside the Big Ten, there are 51 other Power 5 schools. Only 14 of the 51 have wrestling.
Correct. Yep, and there's a couple of things, and again, there are some strategies that I think can be employed, and you're right. Part of that is that you have to go with the presentation of, hey, we want you to add wrestling and this
right.
women's sport, and this is why it's not going to be devastating to the finances of your overall athletic department.
Right.
And listen, part of the equation here is, and that's why if I were in charge of the marketing campaign right now and the strategic growth part of it, I'm targeting the ACC schools in particular because you're seeing with the and maybe the SEC schools would be close second in terms of the target. A couple of things. We're seeing growth, which is actually kind of mind-boggling to me, that we're seeing growth at the high school level in these southern states in particular. We're seeing it across the country very, very slightly, but we're seeing it in the southern states a little bit more markedly. And I'm talking about over the last 10 years now.
Right, sure.
The statistics show that there is more high school wrestling participation, which, again, given the lack of opportunity that there is at the Division I level in particular, is really remarkable. But I think because of the TV contracts and the money that is now there, and I get it, those schools right now are concentrating that money on fewer sports. We've talked about that before with the comparison of Big Ten, SEC, ACC schools in terms of, okay, Big Ten, you're trying to support, 28 to 34 programs. SEC, in many of those cases, you're supporting 14 to 16 programs. So trying to get them to add without looking at it as detracting from the other sports is a battle. There's no question. But I think when you look at the TV revenue that is now being brought in and the increase in TV revenue that is being brought in from both football and basketball, that now is the time, if you are going to grow the sport of wrestling and really any of the sports that aren't currently varsity sports within those conferences, I think now is the time. And there's some history, at schools like Notre Dame, Syracuse.
Sure.
Clemson had a terrific wrestling tradition. So I think if you're smart about the way you go about it and you have a plan that shows, listen, wrestling and whatever women's sport you add, it's not going to be a revenue maker for you, and you understand that going in.
Yes.
What I think you need to do is get some financial backers that can show you, listen, we will provide 5 or whatever the number may be, ideally 9.9, but we'll provide.
Endow the sport.
Correct. Some endowment opportunities here. If you can add this women's sport, wrestling, and because of the way wrestling is set up, I think there is an opportunity there for some programs to add and be competitive is probably not the right word in terms of they're not going to be, matching up with Penn State dual meet wise. But I don't think it would take very long for like a Clemson to get an All-American or two, and all of a sudden say, hey, this is why we added wrestling. We know that we can compete at the highest level.
But Cale Sanderson would take his team to South Carolina to wrestle Clemson in Littlejohn because he knew it would be great for the sport and growing it down there. You would get them in your building because Cale understands.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, Steve. I wish the sport, wrestling gets the wrestling community gets a little bit of a complex trying to compare itself to basketball or football, and that's just ridiculous. That's not that in my mind. That's not where you need to be making the comparison. Those sports are and will remain ahead of you in terms of the national following. What I think what I think wrestling needs to do, actually, wrestling seems to be caught up at the moment, at least some factors in the power structure of wrestling seem to be caught up in, hey, America is about team sports. Look at football and basketball. Let's try to emulate that with the national championships. Wrestling's national championships are doing fine. It is a TV revenue generator. They sell out the arenas no matter where they go, et cetera, et cetera.
And next year will be a crowd beyond crowds going inside the Dome in Minnesota. So.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see the setup there and what the reaction of fans is.
And I hope you can see it.
Yeah, well, and that's going to be part of the, is it a potential to grow the sport because more fans will be able to see it, or, yes, is that going to be too, I don't know the answer to that. We're just going to have to try. I like the fact that they're trying it, and we'll see, see what the reaction is, but I think you need to take more risks like that. Next year to kind of see what the growth potential is in many different ways. But I think where wrestling should follow basketball's suit is more on the early end of the schedule, where the basketball programs will go to those big early season tournaments, and you get a bunch of the high-ranked teams. If I'm wrestling, what I would love to see them do is go to an Orlando or go to an Austin, Texas, or go to an Atlanta, Georgia, one of the southern states, invite some ADs in from a Notre Dame or a Florida State or a Clemson or what have you. I don't. If you want to tie it in with an MMA event to make it more of a crowd pleaser, fine. But bring in 8 of the top 20 teams in the country for an early season tournament. Allow fans, hey, promote it well ahead of time. This is a chance to go to a warmer weather area, Atlanta, Orlando, Austin, Texas, something like that. But use that as kind of a vehicle, promote the high school kids. Man, you're going to have a chance to come see the Penn States, the Oklahoma States, the Iowas of the world here in the early portion of the season, and let some of the college athletic directors or administrators see what some of the possibilities are here in terms of the high school interest translating to opportunities for these kids at the collegiate level. So, your point about maintaining, yes, I think obviously maintaining is critical right now for the sport, but I really do think there is a growth potential here, but it has to be done very strategically, and I think having schools like Penn State that are going out and trying to score as many points and are trying to be entertaining. It's not just about winning. It's, hey, we get that in order to get somebody that is not a wrestling fan to take any note, a Bo Nickel moment like you had last year with Miles Martin, that's going to get the casual sportsman. Hey, man, that was pretty cool. Wow.
Yeah, yes.
Well, that's what you need. You need more of those wow moments that are actually going to get Roman Bravo Young. We don't want to risk any more injuries, but he gets on Sports Center with that move.
Sure, does.
I mean, that's what you need. It needs to be entertaining, athletic, and that's part of the equation here too in terms of trying to maintain, or hopefully from those of us in the wrestling community, hopefully grow the sport.
I know I have to let you go, but it's funny you're talking about inviting people in. I was going to say they should have invited people. This is before you said that. They should have invited those athletic directors in tonight, because tonight will show them what it can mean to have. That is going to be electric and awesome in there tonight. And this, that's what they need to see. This is what you can be. So
yeah, and again, it's not just about having top wrestlers and top teams, but Michigan is very much trying to follow suit with Penn State. You're going to see guys that these are not going to be 3-1 matches tonight. Now watch, we'll end up with 10 matches in a 3-1. But my expectation, Michigan has been a very aggressive team and entertaining style of wrestling all season, and I think you're going to see a lot of points tonight, a lot of takedown opportunities. And again, in terms of trying to grow the sport and get a casual fan is flipping through to stay with it for a little while. That's what you need. They're not going to stick around if it's a couple of guys pulling taffy for 7 minutes. It's just not. You're not going to grow the sport. I don't care how good the wrestlers are. That's not going to do anything to get casual sports fans to say, you know what, I'm going to give this another shot and try to follow college wrestling a little more.
Yeah, I watched their dual meet on TV the other night. I was impressed by how entertaining Michigan happened to be, because I already know how Penn State is. Jeff, I got to let you go. I really appreciate it. It's going to be awesome tonight, and you just soak it in, enjoy it, and do the great job you always do.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Appreciate it.
Jeff Byers, play-by-play voice, Penn State Wrestling. We delved into a lot of important topics there, not just breaking down the meat, but we looked a little bit at the big picture of where the sport is, where it could go, where it might not go. We'll come back, have some fun with Prop Bet's final half hour. News Radio 1070 WKOK, brought to you by Sunbury Motors. When it comes to car buying, there's the other guy's way, and then there's the SMC way. The other guys force you into a vehicle you really don't want. The Sunbury Motors way lets you take the time you need to browse, ask questions, and take the test drive and think on it. For over 100 years, the Mertz family and all their employees have made your experience the most pleasant one you'll ever have. The other guys won't offer you the best price for your trade, no matter how much they say they will. The SMC way is their promise to provide you with the most money the market shows your vehicle is worth. The SMC way is to offer you all applicable factory rebates on new vehicles and generous discounts. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle? The SMC way checks each vehicle in a 200-mile radius to determine the lowest price, then beat it. It's the lowest price promise, just part of the SMC way. The choice is up to you. The other guy's way or the SMC way. The SMC way wins every time. Sunbury Motors Company in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury, and at sunburymotors.com. Selling more cars and satisfying more customers for over 100 years.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is, because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Today's show brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. All right, your Super Bowl specials now through Tuesday. Bud and Bud Light 30 packs. 1888 Reds Wicked Sour Apple and Watermelon 12 packs $7.97. Labatt and Labatt Light 16 ounce 24 packs $19.95. Pacifico 12 pack cans $4.95. Imports, domestics, microbrews, best selection of beer anywhere. Wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and hot every day. And the pickle bar, led by the barrels and the dills. Indeed, second to none, all at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury. And we're in the Sunbury Motors studio. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. All right, Sean, it's prop bet time.
Yes, we're going to bring in our Steve Jones Show college football 2-time bowl prediction champion.
Keep counting.
What?
not 2-time.
What? Oh, how many?
5.
Huh? Oh,
5.
Okay. I could have sworn it was 2.
5.
Okay.
Well, there's only room for 3 on this show. I'm taking off.
And the most interesting man in New England, a.k.a. the King, and Steve's beloved brother, Kevin Jones.
What up? How's it going? Steve, we got one more game to catch Sean. Don't think it's going to happen, though. Sean, amazing season. No one will ever match your record this year.
Yeah, well, thanks to the Patriots the last couple of weeks, I could be one game away from 80 on the year, but I'm 77-32.
Wow. That's a big number.
Steve is 65-44. King, 63-46.
See, those aren't even bad numbers.
And King at one point was at 17-17, so it was a great comeback by the King.
Wow.
I just didn't feel well at the beginning of the year. So I made a comeback.
Too many epiphanies.
It's funny, I didn't feel well watching the Steelers at the end of the year. So.
Wow, I heard Hines Ward on the radio this week. Oh, boy, did he nail. He went up and down on the Pittsburgh Steelers, on Roethlisberger, all of them.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about that, but yeah, he was
very disgusted with the whole thing. Well, I was surprised he was so poignant about it. He was just, Roethlisberger, he said he showed no leadership at all, throwing his teammates under the bus, and what's his name, AB, he said, come on, man, they're paying you a lot of money. Talk to the owner when he calls you, He pays you a lot of money. He was very honest about it, so I don't know.
Team won't be driving up 79 to Seven Springs to Heinz's restaurant anytime soon.
It burned down. So,
I will. He and I played hoops together one time at a charity event. We're on the same team.
Yeah.
Awesome guy. Yeah, awesome guy.
He is.
Absolutely.
He won Dancing with the Stars.
Right. We had fun, a lot of fun. Right, he's not big on the suit, but I mean, it's.
He doesn't know me from Adam, but I'm more than happy to introduce myself.
I believe at one point he did say to me, "What's that guy Adam's suit?" And I said, yeah.
So, that was pretty fascinating. He didn't hold back. He let him have it, and
he's not wrong.
The head coach have it too. No, he said This is what he picked the Patriots to win, and that's when he started getting into Pittsburgh. And he said that stuff would never happen in New England, never. And so that's when he was blaming the head coach, that there's no control of the team now. So, whatever. That's not why we're here. Let's do props. I'm up.
Okay. So currently, we got an over-under of 56.5.
Yep.
And Patriots favored by 2.5 for the big game. So we'll pick that later. All right.
Yeah, those aren't the interesting ones.
All right. Well, I found some fun ones here.
All right.
These are according to William Hill. More points that'll be scored in either the first half or the second half plus overtime.
No, I'd take the second half. What's the...
Right now, it's the second half has the advantage.
Yeah, I would take the second half on that one. I just think there's going to be a lot of feeling out in the first quarter. You might not see a huge number in the beginning.
I say second half for sure.
Okay.
I think everyone's going to open it up in the second half. There'll be a lot of nerves in the first half.
Second half.
Second half next.
The team to score first in the game.
Rams on a field goal.
I've got the Patriots.
I say Patriots.
No,
I say whoever gets the ball first will score.
The Patriots would like to have the ball to start the second half. That's why I picked the Rams to go first. The Patriots like to score at the end of the first if they can, control the situation, then get the ball to start the second. That way they get a 2-for-none. That's why I lean toward the Rams getting the ball first, scoring first.
Yeah, get the coin flip and defer to the Rams.
Didn't the Patriots give the ball up to San Diego?
No. Trying to think with the Charger game, I don't know, but in the Kansas City game, Andy Reid said, "Here."
Yeah, but the Patriots Patriots took the ball against San Diego, which is very unusual. You're right. I'm just saying, you never know with Belichick. he wanted the ball against San Diego.
Well, and Andy Reid didn't. I've got Patrick Mahomes. We can save him till later. Good call.
Well, I know that really upset you, but I'm just saying
no,
that
it's illogical.
Well, I know, but whatever. It's crazy they didn't take the ball, and they only had the ball for 20 minutes the whole game. So he'll look back on that and kick himself. But that's Andy Reid. That's his MO. He makes
Again,
really
my
weird
issue
decisions.
is sports are of possessions. Possessions mean a lot.
Yep.
And that's why on my chart, I always have on my chart the stat possessions per game. Possessions do not even out. They usually are pretty close, but you can't hand away possessions, especially unless you have the Ravens defense. You can't do that. And I was like, you don't have the Ravens defense. There are 30 other teams that are better than you defensively.
First score of the game will either be a touchdown or field goal / safety.
Touchdown.
Field goal, move on next.
Okay.
Come on, get into the good ones. These are the normal ones. Everybody does these.
So we
Yeah, let's
talk
get
about the national anthem over under.
Let's get to the stuff we talk about in Ward 2.
National anthem over under a minute 47.
I don't mean Danville Ward 2. I mean Ward 2 over at the home.
It's 4. It's the 4th ward.
That's interesting. You know exactly where it is.
What is it? A minute 47?
That's what I thought.
Oh, for goodness sakes, we're going to do this?
I have researched this. I have researched this. In 91, you can find it on YouTube, she ran up crisp 140 when she did the Super Bowl.
Whitney.
No, Gladys Knight.
Oh.
In 91, a crisp 140. So
not her first rodeo. Okay.
So if you look at that and you go 147 and understand that the longest one was done by Kelly Clarkson at 150, I'm taking the under.
Just so you know, de-icing a jet takes a shorter period of time than that explanation. Okay.
Team with their first touchdown.
Hold on. I want to hear Steve's pick on this one.
Okay. I thought you wanted to
who cares? Over. I mean, really, I won't be watching it. Go over.
I missed the question. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
National anthem.
How long's the national anthem going to be?
Yeah, the over-under right now is at 1 minute 47 seconds.
Who's singing it?
Gladys Knight.
No pips.
Gladys
No pips.
Knight is singing it?
Yeah, no pips.
No pips? Oh, she's kind of old. I say over.
You'd be surprised what she said about you.
Forgot the words,
Actually,
let me
that's
do
a
it
prop
again.
bet.
I would.
Kevin, that's a prop bet. You can actually bet, will she forget a word to the national anthem?
Okay. What's the next one?
You're not allowed
next
to do anything live.
Yeah, you lip sync it. That's lip sync.
Yeah,
That's why
That's not live.
Allow it to,
That's not live. It's lip synced.
That's why everybody's leaning on the no.
yeah,
I would hope so, because if she fouls it up, they redo it.
No,
Next.
it's because of the commercials, and if you go like a minute over, they lose like millions of dollars. So everything has to be lip synced.
Next.
Total touchdowns in the game. Over under at 6.5.
I had 1,000.
You're barely taking the over then? Is that what you're saying?
Over.
Yeah, I think the over on that one too.
Yeah.
I take the over.
Total sacks in the game. Over under at 4.
Under.
Yeah.
I say over.
No, I think it's an under there.
Longest
I think the Patriots are going to get to Goff.
Longest touchdowns.
Everyone's locked in on the Rams' defensive line, and they very well could. But how many times did the Patriots sack Mahomes last week? People forget about that. The Patriots' defense played a good game. They sacked Mahomes 4 times.
And the Chiefs still got 31. That's amazing.
Yeah, and they lost the game.
Because the Chiefs played, really, got pushed around. That kid still got him 31 points. He is good.
I know, but the Patriots won the game, and they sacked them 4 times. regardless of how good he played. I think it's amazing they scored the points they scored. He wasn't on the field.
Is there a prop bet? Is there a prop bet on Tom Brady being hit in the shoulder pad and getting 15 yards tacked on?
Oh, I don't think so. I'm not a Patriot fan, but that didn't change the game.
It's getting touched on the shoulder pad.
What changed the game was Kansas City's defense was totally gassed because they were on the field for 40 minutes of the game. That was the game, not a penalty here or there. That's just, whatever.
Okay, here are some Tom Brady prop bets. Over-under on completions, setting right now 27. Completed passes.
Over.
Under.
I'm going to say over because I think, to be honest with you, I think the Rams are going to be pretty good against the Patriots' running game, which means he'll have to throw more.
Tom Brady pass attempts, over-under at 41.
That's an over.
Over.
Yeah, that'll be over. Same story because I think as well as the Patriots have run it, I think they're going to have to throw a little bit more.
Tom Brady passing yards over-under at 310.5.
Over.
Yeah, I'd have to say over.
I mean, for goodness, he's going to get 290 against Marcus Peters.
Here's one for you, Sean. You ready for this one? Who scores the first touchdown?
Like Steve said, it all hinges on the coin flip. So he would take Rams. So, but
I had the Rams. I had the Rams getting a field goal to start.
Yeah, he had a field goal.
Oh, okay.
So
I had whoever wins the coin toss, I think, will score a touchdown.
No. You literally have to pick the player that scores.
If I were to pick the player, it'd be James White.
I was going to go Gurley.
Yeah.
Well, he has to
Gurley play.
Yeah, good point.
No one's really talked about much why he didn't play last week.
I was assuming he would.
No, he's going to play some, not a lot.
Super Bowl.
He only played 6 plays the whole freaking game.
Yeah, but they went with a hot hand. They went with C.J. Anderson.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, and Gurley was on a bike. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on the bike to nowhere.
There's question marks with the Rams. They're a great team. Do you see the picture of Donald? Have you seen that guy? The picture in the New York Times? Anybody?
We usually get the Danville Express.
He is an absolute Adonis. This guy weighs 300 pounds. He's got 8-pack abs, not 6-pack abs. He is freaking ripped.
No offense.
Said, this is what's chasing Tom Brady. Okay. I'm like, oh my God, that guy's huge.
It may be a smaller version, but I was around Saquon Barkley for 3 years, so I mean, holy mackerel.
Well, we're talking about a guy who weighs 300 pounds, Steve. He's a massive human being. And I always say, like, to my wife, do you remember Rosie Greer? Everybody knew Rosie Greer. Why? Because he was a 300-pound football player. But he was big, Yeah. These guys are 300 pounds, and there's not an ounce of fat on them. I can't imagine that guy hitting me. I'd be
to
like,
be honest with you, it's really kind of disgusting.
That'd be the last thing I ever did was get hit by him.
It's actually kind of disgusting. I'm 300 pounds, and my body fat's 2. I'm like, oh, I've got that in my pinky.
So we talked about Todd Gurley a little bit ago. Rushing attempts for Gurley over/under at 16.5.
Under.
I'd have to say under too.
I'm going to say over. I think
12.
If I'm the Rams, I do not lose that game and say Gurley did not carry the ball.
Gurley's
the reason you're there. Now you can play around with all kinds of things like this, but you got to let that guy play. He's great.
Well,
if he doesn't carry the ball only 10 times and they lose the game, you got a lot of questions to answer.
See, I think he's hurt. Okay, he's not injured, but he's hurt. There's a difference, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm going under, because I think he's hurt.
Yeah,
Todd Gurley rushing yards.
I don't get it. I lose with my best player.
Todd Gurley rushing yards over/under 75.5.
Under.
I say under.
75.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, under, but I think it's going to be close.
Receptions for Todd Gurley over/under 3.5.
That I take the over.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have to play. I mean, if he plays, I'd say over, but because I think they're going to have to.
I think the key in the game is the Patriots' defense is being overlooked. They are very good.
The secondary for the
good.
Patriots, the back seven for the Patriots, the back seven is exponentially better than the Rams' back seven.
Well, they got one rookie back there. I think Jackson can be suspect. But outside of that, man, they've got Chung. They got veterans back there.
Gilmore's the best. He might be the best defensive player on the field, except for Aaron Donald. Gilmore is awesome. The McCourty twins are really good. Hightower's really good. Chung's fine. You know, you look at the Rams. Okay, that's Marcus Peters. Okay, nickname Toast, constantly burned.
You know what? That's interesting because you're talking about the secondary. That came up in a prop bet that I was looking at earlier, too. The jersey number of the first player to score a touchdown, over or under 26.5? Now,
over.
Well, but think about this. Think about it. You got quarterbacks. You got Gurley. There's Anderson. All those guys are in that range. Plus, Steve talked about the secondary of the Patriots. Their low numbers as well. So
Chris Hogan wears 15 for the Patriots.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So the under may be the best pick on that one.
Yeah, under.
Yeah, well, no, right. all the running backs except for Michelle are all over 26.
Well, it's 26.5.
Okay,
so,
but that's fine. I mean, Sony Michel's 26.
Right.
White's 28. Burkhead's 34. Gurley's 30. Anderson's 35.
Right.
But the receivers are the ones that are under. Cooks is 12.
Cooks, Edelman.
Edelman's 11. 15's Hogan. And it's really, really bad. I know the numbers of the two teams.
You're prepping like Bob Sochi.
That's good. That's good stuff.
It's what I do for a living.
That's right.
And remember, a running back has not scored in the first quarter of a Super Bowl since 1999.
Terrific.
Which quarter will have the most points?
Fourth
right now at 2-1.
Fourth
quarter.
That's 2-1.
Third
quarter is 7-2 odds.
Ooh, I like those.
According to William Hill, second quarter odds are 9-5.
Really?
Yeah.
Usually, remember teams are driving in the in the 2-minute drill. A lot of times they get points, so there's some logic there.
Team that'll commit the first turnover.
Rams.
Unfortunately, I think I'd have to take the Rams on that one too.
I think the Rams. This whole game to me wedges on whether the two tackles for the Rams defense can crash the pocket on Brady.
Yeah, Rams currently
crash the pocket on Brady. Brady does not do well if you crash the pocket right in front of him.
This is where Ndamukong Suh comes into play because Ndamukong Suh,
and if they
by playing next to Errol Donald, has been good.
Big. And if they can do that, then I see Brady turning the ball over.
See, Brady had turnovers again.
If those guys were chasing me, is this what you want? Take the ball.
I remember Brady had turnovers against Kansas City, and he got away with one at the end because Dee Ford lined up offside.
Yeah, well, Gronkowski missed the ball. I mean, threw it right to him. So
yeah, well, believe me, there are a lot of penalties. There are a lot of turnovers like that, all the time.
Hey, there are some popular halftime prop bets, too. Have you heard about these, Steve?
Oh, no. God. Jeez. Go back to 12 minutes. Send out the Grambling Marching Band. Let them do their deal. Start the game.
How many songs will Maroon 5 play in their halftime show?
Well, it's going to be one mashup of songs. There's not going to be any pauses.
It still counts if it's a different song.
I'll say 7.
7.5 is the over-under right now.
Okay. I didn't see that.
God, I was hoping for 0.
How about what's the over-under on who knows who Maroon 5 is?
Well, I take the over on that one.
Guess we're back to 0.
I saw them in concert.
I have no idea who they are. I know a lot about music.
Great pop band. There, I saw them in Hershey Park Stadium about 10 years ago. Great show. They were there with Counting Crows. Great concert. One other fast prop bet before we make our picks. First accepted penalty in the game will be
roughing the passer on the Rams.
First player carried off the field, Tom Brady.
That's a walk-off right there. Well done.
Right now, sitting at 14-5 odds is a false start, but I like Steve's better.
Here's one for you. Who's going to make the first review? Who's going to make the first challenge?
I'll say Patriots.
I was going Rams on that one, and I
It's
think
a
that's a
50-50 shot,
50-50.
Rams.
Yeah, it's a 50-50.
Can I go with Roger Goodell?
No. No.
Sean Payton?
All right, so we got about a minute to go. Let's pick the game. I'm thinking that Tom Brady is not going to set the world on fire with stats. I think you brought up, Steve, a little bit ago about James White. There could be some wheel routes mixed in. I'm just because of that, and I got burned by the Patriots the last 2 weeks. I'm taking the Patriots to win the Super Bowl.
I can't take the Patriots. I don't want to see them get 6, so I'm
picking
Rams.
I'm picking the Patriots.
I got the Patriots.
Yeah.
I think they win easily.
Going against the Patriots, choose at your own risk, and I got burned the last 2 weeks.
All I'll say is this. The Patriots have been in 8 previous Super Bowls. You know what all 8 of them have in common? I'm talking about under Tom Brady. I'm Brady and Belichick. You know what all of them have in common? Every one of them has been a close game.
Yep.
They haven't blown anybody out. And they haven't been blown out either. Well, for the most part, this was fun.
Yeah, we liked it.
Take Adam Levine not wearing a hat. No. That's the favorite on the Yes, There, No halftime prop bet. No hat.
I can't believe I participated in something like this.
You're listening to News Radio 1070 WKOK Sunbury. You can hear us anywhere in the world with the Sunbury Broadcasting Corporation app.